The sheer weight of that popular support eventually made the military's grip on the country untenable, forcing Myanmar's state media recently broadcast an unexpected announcement. The ruling military junta claims it has moved the 80-year-old former leader Aung San Suu Kyi out of prison and transferred her to a designated residence under house arrest. To support this claim, the military released a picture on state television showing her sitting alongside two uniformed personnel. Her son and her legal team immediately dismissed the broadcast. They pointed out that the image was actually taken in 2022, meaning the junta has provided no proof that she is currently alive. This timeline visualizes the 33-year sentence she was originally handed on fabricated charges, a sentence the military has arbitrarily reduced several times. The reality is that since the 2021 coup, she has likely been held in a Nay Pai Ta military prison. Former inmates describe the conditions there as medieval, with cells exposed to the elements. The outside world knows virtually nothing about her current health. Independent observers, her lawyers, and her own family have had no contact with her for over 2 years. This sudden broadcast suggests the military is pivoting. After years of trying to erase her from public view, they are now reintroducing her image on their own terms. To understand her position, we look at how she built her domestic power. Suu Kyi spent decades as an activist under strict military rule. She spent more than 15 years locked inside her family home. During that time, her dignified, nonviolent resistance gained global attention and earned her the Nobel Peace Prize in 1991. These years in isolation forged a deep, almost spiritual connection with the Burmese people. Every day she remained behind gates, her standing with the public grew. The sheer weight of that popular support eventually made the military's grip on the country untenable, forcing Myanmar's rulers to introduce a series of democratic reforms. Her initial punishment acted as the catalyst for her political rise. By 2015, the former prisoner had led her party to a landslide victory, becoming the elected leader of Myanmar. But her time in office forced a brutal compromise. Following the military's atrocities against the Muslim Rohingya population in 2017, Suu Kyi traveled to the International Court of Justice to personally defend the armed forces against charges of genocide. Taking the stand in that room ended the global admiration she had built during her years of confinement. The international community recoiled, and her reputation collapsed. She made a deliberate political calculation. By shielding the generals from international accountability, she hoped to maintain a fragile domestic power-sharing agreement with the armed forces. The military discarded that protection in 2021. The armed forces orchestrated a violent coup, ousted her elected government, and seized total control of the country, sparking massive public protests. They moved her back into captive status. To remove her from public life, the junta pushed through a barrage of closed-door trials on charges that independent legal teams dismiss as entirely fabricated. Her willingness to compromise cost her the support of the international community, and it failed to protect her from the military's predictable playbook of imprisoning elected leaders. Which brings us back to the recent announcement. We have to examine why junta leader Min Aung Hlaing is suddenly commuting her sentence now. The current regime is suffering from severe international isolation. More pressingly, they are losing consistent ground on the battlefield to a coalition of armed opposition groups. To stabilize their position, the military has launched a coordinated public relations effort. Earlier this year, they staged an election to install a notionally democratic government, one that leaves the exact same generals in charge. The unverified reports of Suu Kyi's relocation to house arrest serve as the next phase of this campaign. The generals are trying to convince the rest of the world that they are a legitimate, softening regime. Despite her years in isolation and the controversies of her tenure, her standing with the Burmese people has not diminished. She remains a symbol that the military has been unable to replace. The junta is weaponizing the public's hope for her release. By teasing her phantom status through state media, they are using her to fish for diplomatic recognition from foreign governments. But until independent observers or her own family are allowed to verify her condition, she is not a leader returning to freedom. Aung San Suu Kyi remains a captive pawn, trapped by a military regime desperate to ensure its own survival.